Welcome to Meeting of the Moms, a place to talk about all the things. I'm Lorna Adams. I'm a wife, mom, and certified life coach. I think being with people makes anything a party. Thanks for coming to ours. I'm here with my good friend Amy. For years, we've spent the early morning hours running and talking together before diving into our days.
Hey, I'm Amy Rasmussen. I'm a teacher by profession, a wife and mother by choice, an optimist by nature, and happy by design. Here at Moms, we believe the world is wide open to all of us and that we have unlimited potential. We're so glad you're here.
Last year, we recorded this Halloween episode. We thought it would be fun to share our experiences and tips today, so maybe you can glean some ideas to help you enjoy Halloween a little more this year. Let's listen in.
Lorna, what can you tell me about something that is celebratory lately?
So yesterday was Halloween, and I don't always dress up, but as I typically have taken my kids out trick-or-treating, I do try and dress up. And anyway, last year I didn't, and my kids are getting older, so my life is kind of shifting a little bit. But a couple weeks ago, my mother-in-law gave me a bag of old Halloween costumes that she had. I looked through it and I thought, if I dress up, I could totally use one of these costumes. And it was just easy. It was just a little nurse costume. And so I just dressed up. I had no plans to do anything that would require a costume, but I still chose to dress up. And it was just kind of fun just to be okay with me dressing up. I was a nurse and it was easy and it didn't feel too uncomfortable at all. But even there was a time when I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have dressed up. And it was like, no, it is totally fine. I dressed up. This is great. Good job.
When other time can you dress up, right?
Right?
I mean, you could anytime. I recently watched a TED Talk about a woman who seriously looks like Jackie Onassis every Tuesday. And not with a mask or anything, right? But just her dress. So you could anytime. However, it's a little more socially acceptable on Halloween. So yay, good job.
Right.
So something fun for me yesterday, also on Halloween, was my oldest son, who is about to leave for 2 years. He and I decided to have just a fun day because we do lots of stuff where we're trying to get things done and he's asking for help on stuff or whatever. And so we had planned yesterday to be a fun day. And so we had a fun day. And I think it actually led into a really fun Halloween because I was already in the mood of, I'm not just doing a regular day. This is like a day to connect and to have fun. So yeah, that's my celebration, that we planned it and we saw it through.
So great. Fun to have that time with your son.
Yeah. So today, because it's the day after Halloween, we're going to talk about just some fun things that we noticed and that we were excited about for this year. So Lorna, do you want to jump in and begin?
Sure. So like I said, I did not have any plans yesterday. I have a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old, and I knew that they wanted to hang out with friends. And that was about the extent of what I knew our Halloween would look like. And so it was probably, I had different things throughout the day going on. And so then it was about 3:15 where my kids both came home from school. They weren't ready to hang out with friends quite yet. It was still going to be a little bit later. And I'm sitting there in my nurse costume wondering, what am I going to do with the rest of my day? They're going to go play. And what do I want to do? I have totally been in this place before, not just Halloween, but I've totally been in this place before where I could easily slip into, nobody likes me, I have no friends, there's nothing to do. I could slip into that, and I have in the years past. But I do feel like over the last probably 2 years, I've been better about recognizing that it's coming up and then choosing to do something about it. And so part of my thought process is I can feel sad, and that's totally fine. So I was actually sharing this with my son. We were having a little discussion and I was just saying, I know that you guys are going to go play with friends and I'm super excited about you guys going to play with friends, but I'm just kind of feeling sad about me not having fun today. And so first I was recognizing it, and I feel like that is an important part. I think sometimes I think as humans, we want to be like, no, it's fine. I can't be upset. It doesn't make sense, or I shouldn't, but I think it's fine. And I was really glad I was able to share with my son, yeah, I'm kind of sad about this. I'm excited for you guys, just sad. Anyway, he was trying to help me brainstorm. And the underlying thought as he and I were talking in my own head was, what could I do? What could I choose to do? And what would be fun for me? So after we finished our conversation, I was still kind of mulling over some ideas about what I wanted to do. And I had already set out some meat and knew I wanted to make some soup for dinner. And I had thought it could be fun to make a bigger amount of soup so that I could invite people to come over and have soup at some point in the evening, because trick-or-treating it takes your time, right? You could be out trick-or-treating for 3 hours and children are starving. And moms and dads can be starving too, right?
Mhm.
And so I thought, I'm going to make a big pot of soup and we'll see what happens. Soup and cornbread. And as I was starting to make that, I thought, I'm going to text one friend that I've met up with before on Halloween and just see if she's going trick-or-treating with her tween and if she wants company. And I knew full well she could tell me no if she didn't want me to go with her. Maybe she had other plans. Maybe she was going to be meeting up with a different friend. But I just thought, I'll at least reach out. And that's one thing I can do right now. I reached out, I'm making soup. She responds, yes, we'd love to have a buddy, come and hang out. And so I finished the soup and got the cornbread in the oven. My kids were still home. They were just on their phones doing their own thing. And I went and trick-or-treated with them. It was like a community trick-or-treat. So we're going up and down Main Street. Our businesses do stuff from 3 to 5-ish. So we did that. And then I came home and actually it was super great. And it totally filled my Halloween bucket. I was able to be out in the public, like seeing what was going on and just having fun visiting and seeing the costumes and the kids. Like that just is so fun to me. And then I was home for the rest of the evening and it was perfect. So I did end up, after I got home, I did text that friend and another friend saying, hey, come over for soup if you want it. It's just going to be here. And I knew there was a chance that one or both of my kids might have some friends coming in and out as well. And so I just had made sure everyone knew you can have soup if you want. Like your friends are welcome to have the soup and whatever. And so that's what happened. A couple of friends stopped by, visited for just a short time, maybe not even a half an hour, maybe 15 minutes. And of course, my husband had been home from work at that point. And so he was around. And then my daughter's friends came in, had some soup. They went downstairs, watched a movie together, hung out. And then my husband and I were able to spend the evening together. We were watching some shows and got at the door for trick-or-treaters. And anyway, it just ended up being really nice. It wasn't anything glamorous or maybe like a typical Halloween has been. But it ended up working out really nice because I decided to take ownership of what I had control of.
Yeah. So one thought I had is like, well, I had lots of different thoughts, but most recently with what you just said with it filled your Halloween bucket, I think you had to even know you had a Halloween bucket in the first place. Because for some people, they might not even care. They really honestly don't care, or they would just as soon not have Halloween be a thing. So I think sometimes we just don't even realize in that moment of when you were feeling sad, it wasn't so much like, oh, I'm sad because people hate me, or I'm sad because my kids don't want to be with me. Oh, I'm just sad because I have a Halloween bucket that's not filled. Okay, right? Like, and not that you had those words at that point, right? So I was just curious, like, what would you say you were actually sad about? Like when you were feeling you were kind of sad and you told your kids or whatever, do you have something that you would say, I was actually just sad about this?
I think it was that I was sad that other people had fun things to do. And it was a public thing where everyone was invited.
Right.
I could go, but I didn't feel comfortable going on my own. So it was something to that extent, that there was something being offered for free in the community. Anyone come. And I didn't have someone to go with. Is probably
okay. Well, so it wasn't even that other people were having fun, right? Because you had said you were so glad your kids had plans and whatever. It was like, I'm sad that I don't feel like I can go and do this by myself and have that be fun. This is something I'd want to go with someone to.
Yes.
And then you were able to do something, right?
Yeah.
About feeling that way, because you're like, oh, cool. Okay, now I know what to do. Because it could have been like talking to your kids and be like, well, will you guys just stay home or whatever, which really wouldn't have felt great, maybe, because they had plans, right? It's one thing if you guys had all planned to have the group come to your house and all be together. So yeah. I just love that you were able to identify it. And then even at the end, when you were able to see the success of having your bucket filled, that in the future, that's even language we could use. Like I was just thinking in those moments when I'm having a feeling, I could be like, is there a bucket here that I didn't know existed? Like my dressing up bucket or my Halloween bucket. I don't think my husband has a dressing up bucket, right? Like that doesn't have to be filled. And yet I do. So, okay, that's nice to know that bucket exists for me and does not exist for him. I think both are really important. So that was just fun to hear. And just so many fun things. Like you don't have to make soup and you don't have to be ready to share it. But this year you were like, I'm going to make some soup just in case. And if no one comes by, fine, we'll eat the soup. But you had an idea. Like I know lots of people have a traditional Halloween meal. I think we are similar in that food is not our like place of free flowing creativity or whatever, right? So we've both done things with food at times, but it's not necessarily our very first place where we're like, let's do that, right? Yeah. So I love that you made the soup and you were just aware that that was something you could offer and you could
Yes.
give. And it's also fine if you didn't have anyone to eat it.
Totally. And I think that's the thing too. Like had I been making it thinking people have to come and eat my soup, it would have felt totally different. For me, it was like, it could be fun to offer this. And if people want to come, awesome. If not, we'll put it in the fridge. We'll have it for leftovers tomorrow. We're going to eat it tonight anyway, but then leftovers tomorrow and maybe the next day or whatever. But I agree. Like there's something about just offering and being okay with however people receive it. I don't have control over them, right? But for me, it was fun to offer, like to have a bigger batch of soup so that I could offer it.
And soup is a great one because it's soup. So often it's like, this is a lot of soup and it's freezable and it's like there's lots of things. So that was super, super fun. And just the fact that you've had different Halloweens, right? Some where the mindset has been harder. And I guess I would say too, that it seems to me like sometimes we have to go through the series of different experiences to finally recognize. And yes, sometimes we can have a conversation and it can help us. But a lot of times it's having gone through that and realized like, oh, I've had some like happy Halloweens and some downer Halloweens. And now I get what's going on in the two different situations. And of course, it still means you still need awareness, right? And all those things.
Right.
But sometimes as young moms, we haven't had the experiences yet to even know. And so, if there's young moms out there listening and they're like, well, I don't even know yet. I don't even know if I have a dress up bucket or if I just do it because it's tradition or because I have little kids or whatever. Yeah. It's okay to also be patient with yourself as you're like having experiences and learning about yourself.
Totally. I could see myself feeling like kind of having a pity party on a Halloween, on another normal evening when everyone else is gone. I have sat in that space before.
Right.
And so choosing to be proactive, I feel like I've shifted and I try to be a little more proactive ongoing now. Rather than feeling like the victim or feeling left out or behind. And so those really are the questions that I ask, like myself, like what can I do about this and what would be fun? Like what's in my control? And I think that's what's so empowering is shifting my brain to that rather than just the default. Yeah, I guess nobody likes me. Nobody thought about me. Whatever that is, right? That we sometimes go to because we're humans. Right?
Yep. And I think also through experience, you've learned I don't actually like living in the pity party space.
Right.
So even had we had tools like this earlier in our lives, right? Still having gone through, this is what the pity party feels like. And really, that's not my preference. Then it even spurs you on more to then ask yourself that question and do something. So many good things. That is fun. And fun that you just decide to dress up and
thank you.
Embrace the day, right?
Yeah.
And I think knowing about yourself that is part of what's fun for you, to be part of the festive nature of whatever the thing is. Because like I said, some people don't really care.
Right. And really that's kind of my husband. Like he's fine. Yeah. Like typically he's volunteered to stay home, answer the door for the trick-or-treaters over the years, right? When our kids were really little, we would go together as a family. And then as they got a little bit more into the tween years, he would stay back. I'd take the kids. And that's all been fine too. But for him, he hasn't been wanting it where I love that.
Yep.
It's fun for me. So
Yep.
Very good point.
And I've heard of people who one of the couple likes to sit home and just watch their movie. They have their own little tradition, but that feels more. And maybe they'd rather even stay home with their spouse and watch the movie or what, you know what I mean? So just learning and discovering those things. Whereas other people want that social aspect of it. So it's just so fun to get to know all those things.
Yes. Well, let's hear about your Halloween, Amy.
Yeah. So my Halloween, this is the first year I didn't have an elementary school kid. And so I've done lots of volunteering at the school. I'm one of those people who, even for just passing out candy, I would rather be dressed up. Like it just feels like part of the fun. So I didn't really have a plan for a costume this year. And I knew I wasn't going to help at a school this year. So even up until Wednesday night, Halloween was on a Thursday, I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing. So sometime later on Wednesday or throughout the night or in the morning on Thursday on Halloween, I was like, I think I could dress up like my 11-year-old is dressing up. My son was a Kirby super fan. He has this purple Kirby shirt. Lorna's going to pull up the picture for you. And then we went and bought all this pink and purple stuff. And I realized my older son also has a purple Kirby shirt. And so this picture right here, there we go. And then my other son has this pink hat. And I'm like, I've got pink scrubs that I sleep in and pink exercise shoes. So I just grabbed it and put it on, and my 11-year-old was game for it. But we were super fans, Kirby super fans. And it was fun to just have it kind of come together. And it was fun that my 11-year-old was okay with it, because 11-year-olds are not always
Yes.
okay with that, right?
Yes,
So
right.
That
Totally.
was just so fun to do. And then we even went and picked up my 15-year-old at the high school. He'd done a run after school with a friend. And my 11-year-old was like, we have got to get out of the car so he can see us both in this costume. And we'd already
Cute.
surprised him when he came out of the bathroom in the morning. We were both standing there. It was like, what are you even doing? So we like walked down the sidewalk. And if anyone's familiar with like the hey, hey, where the monkeys walk, we were like crossing, like you cross your leg over the other person as you walk. We were just being so dorky.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, and again, my 15-year-old was like, okay, whatever you're doing. He and I, my 11-year-old and I we just had fun doing it. And then we're trying to find out who might be trick-or-treating. My son's best friend is our neighbor, but he was like, I just want to go with my family this year. So then we didn't really know what we were going to do. I was pretty sure no one else in the family wanted to trick-or-treat, but I knew my 11-year-old did. And so we were talking and he's like, well, maybe we could all go. And so then he asked each member, and pretty much everyone's like, no, I don't care. No. And I said, I will trick or treat with you. He's like, okay, well, we are going trick or treating. So the whole time that was like his plan. But then a mom of another one of his friends reached out on a little group text we have with some of the boys' moms. And so we just ended up meeting up with them as well at a later time. So that was super fun. Because I was also thinking, do I reach out? Like we could find someone. And because I'm like you, it's fun for the kid to have some other kids, and it's fun for me to have another mom to just hang out, or another adult, right? Because if my husband were wanting to go, that would be fun, but he doesn't generally want to go. So that was really cool. And then when we were handing out candy before we left, my husband's like, we should throw some potatoes in there and see if anyone takes one. I'm like, you're a wacko. But we did. We threw potatoes in. And before I left, we had 2 kids who were super excited about potatoes. So there's a picture that we can show you of that too. My oldest and my youngest looking at the potato like, this is super weird. But we did put it in there, and some of the kids were excited. And you'd hear them like, well, can I take a potato? It's like, yeah, that's why it's in there. They're like, okay, I love potatoes. And they take the potato. So that made it really fun.
Spicing it up a little bit. That's so
I
great.
know, just making it different. So my son and I decided to trick or treat close to home, but we took our bikes. We've never done our bikes before. And we live in a small town. And so they're kind of far, the houses are far away. And I'm a big fan of like walking and movement in between the houses. But the bike was really a great option because we're further away. So that was a new thing we did this year, is the bike trick-or-treating. And I would go up to the door with him. Go ahead.
It's so great because you're already out anyway. I don't know. I think that's just another little twist on trick-or-treating. That's fun.
Yep. Yeah, it was great. And so I'd go to the door with him since we were matchy, right? Just to make it fun. And it was funny because some of the adults were like, well, you need some candy too. I'm like, I really don't actually, but it's fine. Like I took some and it was good. So that was super fun. And then we went up and met with his friend up in a different area of our little town. And we're walking around up there, and there were a couple dads who the families were all dressed up, but it was like the mom and the kids were out walking and the dads were driving the cars. But they had festive music on, which I don't even think of like Halloween music, but they had like Ghostbusters and Monster Mash, and it just added like this party flair to trick-or-treating. And it wasn't so loud it was annoying, and their sound systems were nice enough that I don't know, it was just right. It just somehow was just right. And it wasn't too cold this year, and it wasn't too hot. It just felt really, really fun. So that was a fun thing that I didn't even do anything about, but I just celebrate the fact that those families were sharing the fun.
That's so cool. Yeah. So cool. And a minor thing, right? But just fun. Added just another element of fun and party-ish, I guess.
I know. Yep. And then one unique thing that we came across when we were trick-or-treating was we came to this house, and it was an older couple, like obviously no little kids, at least not any at home. And they were just sitting in their garage. They had a bucket of candy, and then they had a bunch of stuff laid out on some tables, and it said free. So it was basically like a free yard sale. It was like, how great is that idea? So they're just sitting there. I think the woman was knitting or something. I don't even know, but they were just hanging out together, having the social of people coming. They weren't dressed up or anything. And then they're like, hey, we might get rid of some stuff. This will be great. And they even had 2 big fluorescent shop lights that were free there. And the other mom and I are both like, wow, I mean, that's pretty great, but I don't know if we even need them. So we left. Later at another house, we saw this guy hauling the shop lights around. And we're like, oh, sweet, you got the lights. He's like, yeah, I did. And his wife just shook her head. I was like, we are doing this whole neighborhood. He is going to have to carry those the whole way. And the husband was like, yeah, because you have to work for it. Totally worth it. So it was just this fun like interaction. And it just made me think that is something that my husband and I could probably just both be on board with, like this fun little quirky thing where we could sit outside or sit in our garage, have some things that we need to get rid of. Because I swear every year you have some stuff, right?
Yes.
Have some
Yes.
candy, throw the potatoes in, whatever. I can be dressed up. He doesn't have to be. But it's almost
Right.
like taking those different elements and putting it in the mix, right?
Totally. Totally. Well,
it's
people are
super
already
fun.
coming by, so come and get some free stuff if you want it. Come and see what
I
there
know.
is.
I
Love it.
just did it with confidence, right? Just
Yeah.
have the sign, and I think that like makes such a difference. Something else I also did yesterday is I got a picture of our costume and sent it out to some family and friends. And then my husband's family, a lot of them ended up texting the costumes that they did. So I got to see my brother-in-law, who was Mr. Shmee from Robin Hood, not Robin Hood, the other one, Peter Pan. Yeah, like the other boy in green, but from Peter Pan. And it was so fun because he even made the glasses like that Smee wears, and he made them out of craft wire or something. So that was fun, just that back and forth of what people did and what they had on. And that was a way to connect with family that was far away. And then my older son and I, who had the fun day together, we made some gnomes, and I made a gnome for Halloween, and he just made a random gnome. So we can show you pictures of those too. But I was just already in this mode of like fun. And that is a good reminder to me. So on days like that, if I can be in the mood for fun. So this one's my gnome for October that you can see, the black and white one. And then you can see my son's in just a minute. And this is my 18-year-old son. He made a denim half and half gnome. So if I can just be in the mood for fun, then a lot of things present themselves. And I think sometimes it's hard for me, at least, to make the shift from like, I'm just doing a regular day and then I'm shifting to fun. Or if I have a lot of stuff surrounding, like, well, I've got to do a fun Halloween meal. For me, that doesn't add to the fun. It just adds to the stress. So I just loved your idea of doing a soup, which I could do a soup or whatever, have a plan for dinner, but not have that be part of the issue. So then he and I had a plan to watch a movie that night. He'd missed a family play we went to called Arsenic and Old Lace. And I'm like, well, we could just watch the movie. And so I got back from trick-or-treating early enough and planned to get back early enough that my youngest could go to bed because it's a school night. He had plenty of candy. He could go to bed at like a normal time, which the other mom was like, we could bring him home, like if he wants to stay and finish. I'm like, no, I think we're good. And so he went to bed, and then my older son and I watched the movie. So just lots of fun things.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome. Well, just fun to spend the time with the younger son, fun to spend the quality time with the older son, just fun to have all of those opportunities and features of a great Halloween.
Fun to embarrass the middle son. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. That's so awesome.
Well, I will say this, like I did tell them, I'm like, I am just kind of feeling that it would be a lot of fun if everyone would just come trick-or-treating with us. And they were like, well, we don't really want to. I'm like, I know. But I'm just telling you, it feels like it could be fun because really this is probably the last Halloween that we're all here at home. So I expressed it, moved on, whatever. We really haven't trick-or-treated as a family much at all because my husband would be on the hunt or whatever else. So we maybe have one Halloween when all 5 of us actually went out and trick-or-treated. So it's not really a tradition or anything. But again, just recognizing I wanted to have some element of fun. I did want to figure out how to, to dress up in some way. I would have enjoyed having everyone come, but also recognizing people didn't want to, and it would have been more miserable having people do it.
Yes.
And really, my husband has an injury this year. And so he really, like he tore his hamstring, he probably needs surgery. So it's not even like that would have been pleasant to be out walking. Like he can move. So it's also nice to recognize that sometimes what we want and reality don't come in together. So
for sure.
Anyway, such a fun Halloween.
I'm so glad. And I want to just share one other thing too that I've learned over the years, and I've shifted my perspective. When my kids were younger, my older kids, when they were younger and kind of turning into that tween age, we were kind of like, probably 12 or 13 is probably like the oldest that you should be to trick or treat. And so we held on to that for just a little while. And as that oldest one got to be 14 and 15, and my next one was starting to be 13-ish, it was like, actually, why do we want to put a number on it? Because it's good, clean fun. If they want to be out knocking on doors, and I'm saying appropriately, right? If the teens want to dress up and actually go out and be polite and ask, say
right.
whatever.
Not all the kids or something. Yeah.
then yeah, totally. Anyway, I have really appreciated that I let that go because I think it's offered other fun experiences for my kids to have. It's not like they're all 15 and 16 and 17 wanting to trick or treat, but I think they're still finding some joy in some of that. And some of it has been trick or treating. But I just, that's a tip that I would offer is don't hold so tight to like the mutual age is 11, starting in January, the year you turn 12. So by then you should probably be done trick or treating. I think there's still lots of good, wholesome fun to be had trick or treating on Halloween night.
Yep. Well, and it's funny that you would bring that up. And I love that you were able to make that shift, even yourself in the middle. You wasn't even like, well, we said it for our oldest. So therefore, you were able to just pivot. But I trick or treated until my senior year in high school. Like it was fun for me. And then I wasn't even the only one. But I know my husband's family, they were like, yep, at 12, you're done. And so I think sometimes it's appropriate to say like, we're moving on from this stage, but other times it's like, why do we have to hurry up and move from this stage? Yeah. There's not something wrong with this. And with this, we can have fun and it's good, clean fun. So I just think that's really cool that you had this one idea and then realized as it was happening, it doesn't really matter maybe. And it's not really in line with some of what I want to foster.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Are there things you want to foster for Halloween this year? Is there something you want to pivot with? What would be fun for you? I'm excited to answer these questions for myself.
Thanks for coming to Meeting of the Moms. We hope it made your load a little lighter. We'd love to hear what's on your mind. Send your celebrations, takeaways, and suggestions for future topics to momswithamyandlorna@gmail.com.
If you enjoyed the show, please like, share, and subscribe. If this isn't the right fit for you, we wish you well on your journey. Until next time, I'm Amy Rasmussen.
And I'm Lorna Adams. See you next week at Moms.